Corso and Catone.
Well, listen, Mark, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to?
Presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and Corso Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here with a nice smile on his face. And Joe is with us in the booth. And you're watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you podcast. You can catch us and make sure you give us a call in our heated hotline, 855-313-PATS, 24/7. Leave us a message. Anything's on the table. And you use the same number for you. Would you rather? And you can also email us in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Hey, listen, we got a good one today in Pat's preview. They continue on with camp, and we have a lot to say about it. And, of course, Catone's Comments is back. It took a little, I'm not using the word, Joe, hiatus, but it took one.
Do it.
He took one
Joe,
last week.
He loves that word, Joe.
Right.
I know.
He's back with it this week. And, of course, we have one of your calls in Heated Hotline. And would you rather? You're not going to want to miss that. Stick around. So, gentlemen.
Hey.
How are we feeling?
I'm great. Listen, Chris, we're 1 week closer to football season. Next week, it opens. We got our first exhibition game for the Patriots.
And there's an exhibition game tonight.
Yeah, I don't count that. The Jets are playing. No Aaron Rodgers. I don't count that.
I don't even know. Is that even on right now? I mean, I'm not even,
Yeah, it's on. The Hall of Fame game, I think, started 8 o'clock or 8:30. Maybe it's not on. I thought it was on.
Yeah.
NBC. It
is.
So
you're watching reruns from 2001.
Hey, I'd rather watch that than that Jets-Browns game tonight. Anyway, so
you mean 1971?
Oh, that's true, Joe. That's true.
That's perfect. So, well, listen, we got a lot to get to in about the Patriots and Pat's preview, and we're going to do it now, Joe. So in their second week of camp, I think they're in practice 8 or 9 or something like that. And
Something like that.
Lots been going on, Mark. I mean, not that much of it good. No. There are some good things, but there are some ugly things and interesting things. We talking about, let's get into, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappe, because all week long we've been hearing about, is there a quarterback competition? Not really. There's not really a quarterback competition. I mean, it's just somebody to push Mac Jones, but he's going to be the starter. And But Mark, should there be one?
Well, listen, based on the way Jones played last year, if you just look strictly at the numbers, you would say, yes, there should be. But they're giving him the asterisk because of the two bozos that were coaching him. So I guess... But if you just look purely at numbers, Chris, there should be a competition. No,
listen, the more I look at this, when he was coming out, Mac Jones out of the draft, and we were looking at him and saying the big knock that we had was, do we really know how good he is because he had such good players and talent in Alabama? The likes of what? Judy,
Chris,
Mechie.
Go ahead. Judy, Waddle, Ruggs, who went to jail from Oakland, Devontae Smith, who didn't even play. He was the 4th wide receiver on that team. And the running back was Najee Harris. How could you with your broken down body could get out there and quarterback that team?
I'm telling you, and probably what would be an all-pro offensive line, too.
Offensive line. So, and a number 1 ranked defense to help you. By the way.
So what's going on in camp now is these two guys are matching each other. So when Jones has a good session, here comes Zappe with a good session in similar numbers, all throughout camp. And this is Zappe running with the ones. So we compared last week.
You
we
mean
talked
Jones
about
running with the ones?
both. I mean Zappe. And this
Okay.
is Zappe running with the ones at times. Last week we talked about, during the week, you and I talked about, hey, we're going to get to know, Belichick's going to want to put Zappe with the ones and see what happens. Well, he's been doing it this week, and he's matching Jones step for step. He's got a good release. He's better under pressure. He's better when the pressure's around him. He's got that little sidearm release, that Mahomes types looking thing where he throws from the side, gets guys open that way. So his percentages are good. His height bothers me a little bit, but otherwise, I don't understand why people think they're as far away from each other as they're saying.
No, I don't think they are either, Chris. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but you got to realize Jones was a first-round draft pick. Kraft has publicly supported him. He's Kraft's guy. There is no competition because Belichick has to start him. Unless there's an injury, Jones has to be the starter because the owner has already put his stamp of approval on Jones. But based on what happened last year, Chris, you know as well as I do that Belichick would love to stick his middle finger up at everybody and say, guess what? Zappe's starting because Zappe's better. But he can't. But if Jones was to start out 0-3, 0-4, or that Philadelphia pass rush, he gets injured, and Zappe's going to go in and plays well, Belichick's never putting Jones back in. It's going to be Brady Bledsoe all over again, Chris. I think he's hoping for that scenario.
And you know what? You said two good things, 2 points you just made right there. One, the middle finger. He wants to throw the middle finger up to nobody more than Mac Jones. That's the guy. You say, you little bastard, you come into my world, you go call Nick Saban to figure out what's going on over here, that bitch about it, like he's not going to come back to me. And you complain and cry about it all year long, and even still, you're still talking smack coming into this season, talking about, yeah, he's great on defense, meaning Bill Belichick. Yeah, he teaches me a lot on defense. You little snot-nosed little bastard is what Belichick's saying in his brain. So yeah, he's aching to be able to say, here's Zappe, let Zappe go on a run and win games and say, you see, screw you, I'm out.
Yep.
Right? And so he may get the shot to do it, Mark, because the second thing you mentioned was Brady Bledsoe. It does remind you of that. Not the talent-wise. Let's not get crazy. But it reminds you of Bledsoe signed that huge contract, and he was not Belichick's guy. But
Bledsoe was Kraft's guy.
Right. He signed that big contract when Belichick got here, basically, right around then. He loved Brady. He kept pushing Brady up the depth chart. Okay, he liked his attitude. And Bledsoe became kind of a prima donna. And so Belichick saw the opportunity, and boom, obviously you don't like the opportunity the way it came. Old Lewis hitting, that tackle, and that was it. And it's similar because Zappe's got that attitude of, yeah, man, I just want to play. I don't care. I mean, he was asked this week, and you tell me what you think, who this is a shot at. He was asked this week, hey, do you consider this season, meaning Zappe was asked, do you consider this season a fresh start from last year? And he said, I know that's what's being said around here. I don't know, whatever, let's just play.
Yeah.
That's who I want.
Yeah. And that's what Belichick wants to hear. Belichick don't want to hear, that the ass aching and belly aching for Mac Jones. He don't want to hear that. It's a fresh start. It's a new year. Belichick don't want to hear that bullshit. Get out there and play and produce and shut your goddamn mouth. Right?
And those two guys are not as far.
Chris, that bridge has been burned. Once you burn Belichick, there ain't no coming back from that. He's playing the game and putting on the act because his owner, who signs his paycheck, wants Mac Jones to succeed. But Belichick, no way Belichick is okay with what went on last year. And you think at his age, he's going to forget? Of course not.
And that's a shot. That comment about, I know that's what's being said around here. That's a shot at Jones. That's a shot from Zappe at Mac Jones saying, hey, you keep talking about fresh starts. I'm ready to go. Give me the friggin' ball.
And Chris, then the 2 or 3 questions after, they asked Zappe in that same interview, they said, do you consider, this to be a competition? He said, yeah, absolutely. He said, I'm out here trying to prove myself every day. Absolutely, it's a competition. Yeah. So he's got that mindset.
Yeah. His immediate response was yes.
Yes. Of course he did.
Give him the ball. These two guys are not that far. They're closer together than you think, than you people think out there. So let's see what happens with that. So, I mean, that's going to be real interesting to see when that trigger gets pulled, right? On the Zappe, because he's
so Chris, okay. So Joe, let's write it down. Odds. What game does the move happen? Is it because of losses? Is it because of injury? Let's before we move on, let's pick it. What do you think?
Oh yeah,
game 4.
What?
Okay, why? Because you think they'll be 0-3?
They're going to get the ever-loving crap kicked out of him by Philly. He's going to get sacked about 63 times.
Okay.
And then what? Game 2 against Miami?
Is game 2 Miami? Yes.
I believe so. Or the Jets.
Game 3 the Jets?
Game 3 is the Jets. Loss. And then you go to Dallas.
Okay.
But doesn't it matter that, like, when Zappe came in last year, the fans jumped up, the defense jumped up, like that? None of that stuff matters. Like, I mean, everybody's excited for it.
Well, the fans, I mean, us, the fans are going to say, hey, whoever's, what's the flavor of the week? Let's go. Who's completing passes? I don't care who you are.
Yeah, but the team did too. I feel like the defense stepped that up too.
You're right. He's right, Mark. Everybody kind of looked energized.
He is right. They did look energized, didn't they? There was even a different bounce on offense, it seemed, when he was on the field. So here's my prediction, Chris.
Yeah.
Here's my prediction. And I know I'm nuts. The offensive line is so goddamn bad. It's so bad. There'll be a quarterback change for week 2 because Jones is getting hurt against Philadelphia. That's my prediction. He will be carted off the field against Philadelphia because Philadelphia is going to hit him around the field like a goddamn rag doll against that offensive line. And I know you love that offensive line.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope
he's going to get beat up like a rag doll in that game, Chris, because Philadelphia has one of the best pass rushes. They got one of the best lines in all of football.
Well, listen, and so we'll see what happens with the quarterback battle, but I want to revisit because I wanted to get to a couple of the position groups that we didn't get to last week, linebacker and corner. But, and if we don't get to it, we don't, because this bears repeating and going through again. We need to talk about these wide receivers again as to what we've seen, and we need to talk about this offensive line because Mike Giardi, this week used the term stink, stank, stunk when he was asked about the wide receivers, which is great. He's been quoted all week long saying that, shows like this and everywhere else, because it's a great line. And Mark, it is stink, stank, stunk. But here's the thing. That's not new here. No. That's not new on this show, is it?
Listen, certain people on certain stations, flagship stations, have been on record saying they're okay with the Patriot wide receiver room. They think they're good enough.
Okay with the Patriot.
They think they're good enough. What are you watching to think that wide receiver room is good enough, Chris? Let's go down the list. Okay, Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm going to give him credit. I think he's workable, Chris. I think he can create separation
and run away from people.
Away from people. I think he's going to be really strong in the red zone. So let's give Juju Smith-Schuster a pass. We'll say he's acceptable. Okay?
Right.
Now,
okay.
You want to talk about your buddy? Talk about the giraffe, Thornton.
Well, there's not much to talk about with him. He hasn't done anything in camp. He can't get separate. Listen, Mark, for the rest of these guys, the common theme, and you will go down the list, but the common theme to the rest of them, and I'm leaving 2 guys out for a minute. Not anybody drafted this year. But everybody, the other 4, the Fab 4 there, Parker, Bourne, Thornton, those 3 out of the 4, no separation. They can't separate from defensive backs.
And Thornton runs a 4.2 40, Chris. How's that possible?
Yeah, because he can't separate off the line. And you know what? He can't separate. Parker can't separate. Parker's a 50-50 guy.
But you said that before the draft, watching film. You said, when they drafted him, you said, I don't care how fast he is. Mark, look at the film. He's never going to get off the line in the NFL. And you're 100% right. I thought he had a chance, Chris, to do something. But you were 100% right when you looked at his film coming out of college.
He can't. And Parker's the same way. This is not a separate kind of guy. Can you play in the X and you can't separate? So basically for him, everybody's, in training camp as to his 50-50 ball catches over guys. Yeah, because he has to. Yeah. He has to because he can't separate. So he's your 50-50 guy, no separation, which tells you there's nothing downfield that's going to be open. Nothing. Everything is going to be in that intermediate range if they get anything. So no separation from any of these guys. Bourne's invisible. This is a guy that's going to either be IR'd or traded. Do you disagree?
No. Chris, I've been telling you about Bourne now for 2 years. I told you he's one of these guys that you look at him and you're like, wow, this guy's going to have a breakout season. He's going to have a breakout season. Listen, San Fran, he signed for cheap money, Chris. San Fran would have re-signed him if they thought he was that guy. He isn't that guy. He's not going to be that guy. Okay? He's just not. He caught a ball today, Chris, up the sideline. Supposedly a deep ball over somebody. Finally, he caught a ball. But he's shown nothing. He has shown absolutely nothing. And so
now you could say he wasn't given the chance last year too. I mean, and when he got on the field, he did do some things. I get it. He popped a little last year. But speaking of pop,
your guy that you liked coming out of the draft, you mentioned him on one of our pre-draft shows, the Mario Douglas from Liberty. When I was going through the wide receiver group, you said, Mark, what do you think of this guy in the middle rounds?
Yeah.
Right?
Mark, he's been good. I mean, he's been good. He's in and out of breaks. He's getting separation. Yep. He's got an attitude on him.
Guess who he's got great chemistry with?
Yeah.
Maybe
Number
Zappe.
4. Maybe Zappe. And you know what? He's a small guy. He's a real small guy. But you know what? He's getting away from people. He's running away from people. He's getting 50-50 balls. He's strong in his hands. He's good off the line.
You know what they said, Chris? When he was drafted by the Patriots, they said he went in after he signed, did whatever at mini camps and all that stuff. All he did was watch hours and hours of tape of Troy Brown and Julian Edelman and what they did and how they got off the line. And they said he watched hours and hours and hours of tapes of those guys.
Well, he's getting it done in practice, that's for sure. It's going to be real hard for them to hide him. It's going to be hard for him not to crack that lineup. I'm dying to see him, not so much in the preseason games, but in the competitions during the week when they go against other teams, the 2 times they're going to do it. So, and Butte finally showed up, didn't he?
Yesterday. He showed up yesterday. Absolutely. He did.
Mark and I are huge. We're huge Butte fans. So,
well, because if you watch his tape from his, and listen, I know it's college. It was his freshman year. We're going back 2-3 years. I get we're going back in time a little bit. But if you watch that tape, he has more raw talent and ability than anybody in that wide receiver room that we currently have. He had a series of injuries, a series of surgeries on his ankle. I get it. If he can get back to that speed and physicality and that ability. Yesterday, Chris, they had one-on-ones with corners and receivers, and he is the only receiver today, as of today, that went one-on-one against Gonzalez and one-on-one against Jonathan Jones. Supposedly your 2 starting corners, Jack Jones maybe too, and he beat them both.
Listen.
So he's obviously got the ability.
So in my opinion, get Zappe in there, get Butte in there, get Douglas in there, Parker, and let's go. Forget Bourne and forget Thornton. Juju Smith-Schuster too. Hold on. So that's it. Get them in there. We go, and that's it. But nothing's going to happen without the offensive line. We ain't going to get.
That's what I wanted to tell you quickly. Do you want to talk about just how bad they've been?
They're just bad. They're bad. Trent Brown's hurt. Because he doesn't want to practice. Mark, the bottom line is when Cole Strange comes back, it's going to be Mafi, who's looked good. It's going to be Mafi, Strange at guards. They're going to move Owino over to left tackle, and they're going to put McDermott at right tackle. And God bless all of us, especially the 2 quarterbacks, because it ain't going to work.
Chris, Mark. God bless. You pray to God somebody don't get hurt because you have no depth at all.
That's it.
So if you get an injury, you're screwed. What that offensive line is going to do, I have no idea, Chris. No clue.
So we'll see what happens, and we'll get to the defense next week. I'd like to see them get through camp and get into that preseason game. And we want to talk about Gonzalez and Uche and some of these other guys on the defensive front who've looked pretty good. But Pat's preview was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Hey, when we come back, it's back. Buckle up. Catone's Comments is next.
Special Sauce Podcast. You lacking the sauce. The sauce is good, eh?
This is starting off as finance Kratos Custom and let 'em read.
With your host, Marcus Aurelius. Tune in to Special Sauce Podcast, wherever you podcast. What's your special sauce? Time for Catone's Comments!
So today, I've been off. They put me, I'm going to use this word, Joe. They put me on a hiatus. So now I'm back. But I got a few things that I want to talk about. I got a few different topics, a few different things. I'm going to be a little bit, back and forth on different things. First of all, I don't seem to understand the state of what this nation, this country, because of workers. Nobody wants to work. And if they do want to work, they're like a box of rocks. They're a box of rocks. And I don't mean to talk about anybody's mental capability, but that's what they are. Listen, I had to go to a store. Yes, a store. This was going back. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk about it. This was going back late spring. My wife was doing flowers and all this stuff, right? So she buys these square pots. So I have to go to a store. She wants some pansies. She wants these spiked steaks that they go, in the middle of the pot. And then she wanted some IV. She wanted a few different things. So I go to this one store. They go, we don't have any of that. We're out. Nothing. What do you mean you're out? Oh, supply chain issues. But supply chain. COVID was 3 years ago. They're still using supply chain issues. Listen, I am so fed up with these stores telling you, we don't have that. No, we can't get it. No inventory. We can't. Listen, COVID's over. Listen, people, COVID is over. Stop using the excuse of COVID to say you got no inventory. You're jacking up prices and you're screwing the consumer. Screw the consumer. Screw them. Listen, stop it. Please stop it. So anyways, now I have to go to another place. So now I go to a nursery, right? One of these, flower tree nurseries. I said, they're going to have it at the nursery. That's what they specialize in. So I go there. I find everything I need. I find it all. I take it to the register. The lady's at the register. She's looking at it. She fiddles around with it. She says, you can't buy these. I said, what do you mean I can't buy these? She said, they're not in our system. You can't buy these. I said, what? She said, they're not in the system. I said, but they're over there. You got 100 of them. They're on a shelf. They're over here. What do you mean I can't buy them? They're going to price everything. Well, what do you mean I can't buy them? No, you can't buy them. They're not in the system. I said, excuse me, ma'am. I'm walking out of here, either paying or just carrying them out, but I'm taking these out of here. So if you charge me something, nope, you can't buy them. I said, get me a manager, please. Somebody comes over. I don't know who the heck it was. She says, let me see. Look at them. Oh, yeah, no, you can't buy these. They're not in the system. I said, what do you mean they're not in the system? Are you kidding me? You got them out on display for people to buy, but I can't purchase them because they're not in the system? What is wrong with these cherub mutant imbeciles? What are you talking about that I can't purchase something that's physically there? Are you kidding me? You can't. Oh, nope, you can't buy them. I was out of my mind. Absolutely out of my mind. So now, okay, I can't buy them. I don't know. So I leave. I go home. My wife said, where's the stuff? I said, I didn't get it. She said, why not? I said, well, one store didn't have them. I went to the nursery. The nursery had them. They said I couldn't buy them. She said, what do you mean you couldn't buy them? I said, they said they're not in the system. She said, well, did they have them? I said, yeah. She said, you didn't buy them? I said, they weren't in the system. That's what they told me. I couldn't buy them. She said, you forgot. You didn't want to go to another store. You left. You went to the first store. They didn't have them. You came home. I said, no. I went to the nursery up the street you told me to go to. They had them, and they wouldn't sell them. What do you want from me? She's like, how did they not sell them? I said, listen, go to the store yourself, talk to these imbeciles, and ask them why you can't purchase the stuff that's on the shelf that's mocked that I want to buy. It's not in the system. I don't know why they wouldn't let me buy them. So now I'm fighting with her because she thinks I'm crazy that they had the stuff, but I couldn't bring it home because it wasn't in the system. I said, okay. Now, I'm not even going to get into driving home and what that was like. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not getting into the driving aspect of coming back from the store. However, somebody please explain to me how I can't purchase something that's physically in the store on the shelves, but it's not in the system, and I could not purchase it, and I couldn't bring it home. Please, Chris, could somebody explain this to me? Because I'm still ready to pull my hair out.
Mutant imbeciles.
Wait. Mutant cherub.
Mutant cherub imbeciles. That requires an explanation first before anything else.
Listen. Then
So
I'm going to come home because she thinks I'm full of beans because, like, how is that even possible?
Well, what the hell did you think she was doing? Joy riding around? Sitting down the street? If you're smart, if you had any friggin' brains, you'd get in the car, you'd drive down the road, you'd sit there for whatever it would take, 40 minutes, watch Corso and Catone, and then go home and say, I couldn't find them. Why do you continue to do this? Why do you continue? Let us know in heated hotline. Somebody, why do you continue to go places in stores? Joe, I mean.
I don't know. For a second there, I thought he was going to say
I was going to go to a third store. I was going to go to a third store after, and then I said, listen, I went to a nursery. That's what they specialize in. They had everything I was looking for. How is it? What do you mean it's not in the system?
So in my opinion.
It's not in the system?
In my opinion, if it's not in their system, that means it doesn't belong to them.
Yeah.
So if it's not in your system, all right, I'm just going to take them there. You should have just taken them. And what do you suppose would have happened?
But then I didn't do it.
If you took them, so if the cops come, which would have been even better. If that way, next time that happens, make sure you get that on video so we can show it here. But the cops come and you say, they said it's not in their system. It don't belong to them. So I took it.
Yeah.
Well, ma'am, did you ring it up? Could he buy it? No, it's not in our system. Oh, well, if it's not in your system, who the hell's it belong to?
So could we use that as a defense, attorney?
Why not?
Could I use that as a defense?
We use anything as a defense.
If I walked out with it?
Yeah. I mean, you could say anything we want. You know, we could say, well, we can. I mean, for you, we would be using the insanity defense every time anyway. That's a no-brainer right there. List of defenses, and duress, because you're under duress going to these places. I mean, you're getting forced to do it.
Has that ever happened to you? They tell you, you can't buy it. It's not in the system. They would not let me buy it.
Okay, let me say this one last time to both of you. Okay, I don't go to stores. Okay. I don't go to stores. That's it. My garage is basically an Amazon hub.
QVC Amazon hub.
That's it. I don't go to stores. This is why.
That's why I thought you were going with that, Mark. I thought you were going to say, "Oh, it's not in the system. You got to go online and buy that."
Look at him. Look at him. For those of you who are listening and not watching, he's sitting back, rubbing his face, sweating. Mark, you can't go anywhere anymore. That's it. How many times does your therapist need to tell you the same thing over and over again? And by therapist, I'm talking about me.
Listen, I fired my therapist. She thought I was crazy. I fired her.
You got to listen to them. You got to listen to me, pal. You got to listen to us, Joe. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So the moral of the story, Mark, is the next time you need a plant, go into the neighbor's yard who you pushed down in the snow, dig up one of his plants, stick it in a pot, and bring it home. That's it.
Listen, I didn't push no neighbor down. Don't stop making up stories now.
The guy that pushes the leaves into your yard.
Yeah, well, I'll take care of him in the fall. Don't you worry about that. I'll take care of him. I got a surprise for him.
Well, Mark, stay out of the stores. That's all I can tell you. Let him know in Heated Hotline. Email us. Let us. I mean, somebody. You're gonna have to listen to somebody at some point. So good stuff. Catone's Comments was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, who will be representing Mark anytime now. So allow us to be your voice, Mark. When we come back, we're going to hear from one of you in the nation in Heated Hotline. All that and more right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. Hey, we haven't had it in a couple of weeks.
Listen, I just got to say this. I don't mean to interrupt you.
About in the store.
Yeah, when we were talking about the Patriots, I had to bring it up, but I have to get this off my chest, and then you just go on. Today at New York Giants training camp, Jalen Hyatt he beat double coverage twice, took the top off the field, beat double coverage, 2 touchdowns. They said it was unbelievable. They said it was like the University of Tennessee all over again. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know what else to say, how else to say it. The kid's going to be a superstar. I said it. I screamed it. We're going to talk about, we have to discuss that next week too. It's unbelievable that this kid they can't cover him in Giants training camp. They can't cover him, Chris.
That was Mark's guy. You took Gonzalez, should have taken him second, and the offensive tackle from Ohio State. End of story. 10 wins. Let's go. 11 wins. Let's go home. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So it's been a few before since we've heard from one of you in the nation in Heated Hotline. And so Joe tells us we have a good one. So let's hear it. Joe.
This is Sal from East Providence. Are you kidding me with Bloom? Oh, the stats show you that they won't make the playoffs. You friggin' geeky nerd. Spend some goddamn money or go back to Tampa. Get your head out of the stats, you friggin' nerd.
Bring him back, the nerd.
Sal,
Mark, you asked for it last week. You told Sal, call in again. We want to get Sal on the show more. Here he is.
There's Sal. I love it. Listen, I love it.
Nerd, he said.
I love it.
Nerd. Well, Mark, I mean, listen. And Sal, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Make sure you keep bringing it. We keep bringing it. That's one of the better Heated Hotlines we've had.
Listen, other than my little friend.
Well,
he may be my favorite caller other than my little friend.
Well, Lily and Olivia, those are the two.
Those are them. You know?
But, Mark, I mean, it's a good opportunity to talk about some baseball. I mean, he's right. I think he's right. I mean, you got Hein Bloom coming out kind of tripping over himself a little bit in that presser after the trade deadline. And I know you got some things to talk about with that and for the Yankees too. This is a good opportunity to do it. Coming out and basically saying, hey, look, we're not going to trade just to trade. You know, it needs to make sense. Then he talks about the stats. This is what Sal's alluding to, is basically saying, well, when you look at whatever book, he's a nerd, whatever he's staring at that tells him their chances of making the playoffs aren't really that good, comes out and actually says that. So we're going with the numbers. Mark.
Yeah. Well, so listen, the Red Sox, Chris, weren't supposed to be this close. So I don't listen. You're not going to tell me any different, Chris. So the way Turner's playing, Justin Turner and the kid Adam Duvall, and even Verdugo, the way those guys are playing, Chris, Bloom wishes they were 8, 9, 10 games out of the wild card because he would have traded those guys for young prospects because young prospects, maybe from AA, who are a year or two away from being real contributors. That's what he's trying to build. He would have absolutely been a seller, but he couldn't because they've won some games. People didn't think they could win. They beat Atlanta twice. So he was forced to either be a buyer or stand pat. He's not buying, Chris, because this team's not supposed to be where they are right now. His full intention was if a guy like Turner or Duval or Verdugo has a good year, you're not going to tell me he wasn't selling at the trade deadline and he wasn't going to bring in some more prospects, save some money, bring in some prospects, and playing into his whole system of, hey, we can do this and we can win without paying, having a salary of $300 million for a team. He's got Devers, and Devers is going to be the only guy he pays, and he's going to fill the rest of that roster with these other types of cheaper, younger guys. Listen, some of his young guys are paying off. The kid Cassis is coming on like gangbusters, Chris. He's becoming one of the best young first basemen in the league. He's got a couple of other guys that are starting to play well. So the kid, was it Brito, the pitcher? The young, what's his name? The young pitcher looks like Pedro. He's getting what he wants, but it might take a couple of more years. There was no way, Chris, and Sal's right. The way he reacted was stupid. Especially when Devers calls you out 3 days earlier and says, we got a shot here. We need to bring in some reinforcements. And then you don't do it, right?
Mark, could have, would have, should have. And this is what pisses people off in Boston. Sal's right. Go back to Tampa, you dork, you nerd. Get out of here. I mean, look, again, you're in a big market. I know you don't want to be big market, and that's the owner. So he's just following.
I was just going to say that, but he's got John Henry's blessing.
Yeah,
Chris.
But you know what? It's true. But it isn't should have, well, would have, we shouldn't have, Look, you are in it now. Okay. So we shouldn't have done it is nonsense. The bottom line is you're 2 games out of wild card. What the hell is your function?
But Chris, because his additions,
to
listen, you know why, Chris? Because you know what he looked at as his additions were? His additions are Trevor Story coming back, Chris Sale coming back, Garrett Whitlock. Listen, wait a minute. Garrett Whitlock coming back. So he's got 2 pitchers coming back. He's got a shortstop coming back who possibly can hit. So his additions were those 3 guys that were already on the roster who haven't played in ages. That's what, in his head, that's how Chris
Sale's not an addition. He's an invalid. He's an invalid who shows up to throw a friggin' warm-up game and what do they call them now? Woo socks?
The Woo socks.
Well, wherever the hell that is. They friggin' They got him throwing over there, and that's all he does. Oh, it felt good. There's some things I still need to work on. Then he comes out and says, oh, my elbow.
But Chris, listen, in his mind and how he framed it, those are his additions. So they didn't have to be buyers because he has 3 guys coming in. Those are his additions at the trade deadline. Sale coming back from injury, Whitlock coming back from injury, and Trevor Story. So with those additions, if they make the playoffs, great. If they don't, he'll fall back on his press conference and say, "Oh, I told you statistically that it was going to be an uphill battle." So he hedges bets both ways, and
we'll see how they finish.
He's been allowed to do that, Chris, by the owner.
We'll see how they finish because if they go into the toilet now people are really going to be pissed. Guys like Sal are going to be really pissed off. But Mark, I know you wanted to mention something about the Yankees in the 2 minutes that we have left.
So, Chris, the Yankees are a disgrace. So the Yankees are
right now they're up 3-2 against Houston. This is Thursday night, but go ahead.
Well, good. So the Yankees, Chris, have the worst batting average in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
the worst. Okay. Fundamentally, they're awful. They're base running mistakes. They were stealing bases earlier in the season. They're not stealing bases anymore. They're not playing small ball. They can't produce runs. Their pitching staff,
They can't run.
They can't run. Their pitching staff is in shambles. Domingo Herman is now in alcohol. He's in rehab for alcohol. Nestor Cortez has been hurt. Rodon comes back from injury, but he's basically in an extended spring training. So he's not really ready to contribute. I give the guy credit. He's got balls. He's trying to, but it's spring training mode for him right now. How is it, Chris? Sell? But listen, because who's buying that crap? No one's buying those salaries, right? That roster, Chris, the way it's constructed, needs to be totally reconstructed. It needs an overhaul. But that can't happen until the end of the year. So I knew they weren't buying, Chris, because that has to happen during the offseason. Here's what gets me. You struck out 18 times against the Baltimore Orioles on Sunday. You struck out 12 more times on Monday. You struck out 30 times in 2 games with their payroll and their salary and those players. How do you, as a major league team, strike out 30 times in 2 games? And on Monday, after Monday, Boone says, I like the way we look. We didn't do, I like the way we played yesterday, talking about the 18 strikeout game. We grinded. We put some pressure on them. We just got to finish. Finish? You struck out 18 goddamn times. Boone has to be fired, Chris. Someone's got to go for this. Cashman or Boone or both. But Steinbrenner is going to have to do something. I have a funny feeling Cashman will survive, but Boone's going to have to be a casualty. You can't do this and not have people going. You got to wipe the slate clean, Chris, and start anew. And I believe it's happening in the offseason. I knew they wouldn't do it at the deadline, but something drastic has to happen, Chris. It's almost like they're just going through the motions, like they've even lost their motivation under Boone.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see how they finish. I mean, the 2 teams, the Red Sox and Yankees, that are similar in the standings, but not so much when you look at them at all. So they are going in different directions. So we'll see what happens there. Sal, thank you for the call. Great heated hotline call. We need more from Sal.
I love Sal. Sal's going to keep it coming. I have a feeling we're going to hear from Sal during football season when these bums stop, these bum wide receivers start to not show up.
All right. So Heated Hotline was presented by Special Sauce Podcast, specialsaucepodcast.com. Hey, when we come back, very popular, our Would You Rather segment coming up.
It's the Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, huh?
This is start off as finance drive. Train them, trust them, and let them lead.
With your host, Marcus Arias.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal. There it is.
There it is, Chris.
I got to let it play a little bit. Because I love that tune. Back in with more.
Its own sort of play-in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Joe, we gotta hear your voice saying, "Would you rather?"
Next time you play that in, though, you gotta put it a little. You gotta put it a little louder. It's a little difficult to hear sometimes when you play that in.
Well, that's because you know. Next time you're at the store, pick up a couple of those assistants for your ears.
Listen.
You know, those amplifiers or whatever it is. So,
yeah.
Well, here we are with Would You Rather again this week. It's been pretty popular, and to remind you all. The question this week was, would you rather team up with Superman or Wonder Woman? Joe,
I thought it was Batman. No, I thought it was Batman.
Yeah. Wow. What show were you watching?
Go back to sleep. It's
I
Superman.
thought it was Batman.
It's Superman or Wonder Woman. Okay. We want to quickly just give our take really quick, and then let's see if you can change our minds. Joe tells us we have some good ones. So, Mark, Superman or Wonder Woman? What do you think?
Listen, I know what you people think I'm going to say, but I'm going to go in the total opposite direction. How's that? All right.
We already said Batman.
Yeah, I did, because I think Batman's cool. I wanted Batman. I don't like Superman.
Yeah, but he's like a normal person.
Can I choose Catwoman? Can I choose Catwoman?
While he's sorting himself out, Joe, who are you taking?
I'm going to go with Wonder Woman. I don't know what it is. She's got the whip.
It's not a whip. It's a rope.
That's
what the hell? Where is his mind? A whip.
It's got the
Catwoman has a whip.
Something.
Oh, I like Catwoman. I want
She's
Catwoman.
A god. I didn't know that. Like seeing the new movies, I didn't know that certain things about Wonder Woman that come to light now. That I'm like, in the comic books, I never really knew that she was a god. She's got like basically Superman abilities that, you know.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Well, she at least has the whip that he doesn't have. You know?
It's a magic lasso. She comes from Paradise Island with all the Amazon people, girls, women, and she flies in an invisible jet. That's what I know about Wonder Woman. She's really strong too.
I just want to say,
hey, Mark, wait, which Catwoman?
I want to go. Yeah, I'm with her.
which Catwoman? The one from 1967,
The one-
Newmeyer,
No,
or do you like the Michelle Pfeiffer?
no, the one from 1967.
See, I would take the Michelle Pfeiffer one. Well,
No,
what are
see,
you talking about Catwoman for?
I know. I know.
Hey, I like Michelle. Now, if you were talking about Michelle Pfeiffer from Scarface, well, that's different. Now we're so off the rails. We are off the rails.
All right, so pick one, will you, Mark?
Okay, so I would pick personally. I'll pick Superman.
But why though? What do you want him to do for you?
What?
What do you want him to do for you? I mean, there's got to be a reason.
He's it. He's the man. He's the man. Unless you got kryptonite, he's unstoppable. Unstoppable is Superman.
Well,
I team up with Superman.
My instinct tells me Wonder Woman.
That's what my first instinct was, and I changed my mind.
That's my instinct. Linda Carter. That's my instinct. Nobody knows who Linda Carter is.
I know who Linda Carter is. I was going to ask you, was Wonder Woman Linda Carter, but I didn't.
You got to make it when she uses the rope, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you tell the truth.
I know. Does a lot more than that though, too. But yeah, go ahead.
So maybe I should team up with her so she can't use it on me. So I have to tell the truth. I don't want to tell the truth, but I don't know. My instinct, but Superman depends on if it's the goody two shoes Superman that isn't going to do it, isn't going to help me out with what I need done, then no. But if he's going to do whatever I tell him to do and listen to me and all, I got Superman in my corner. I'm going to run the whole world. That's it.
Oh.
I'm going to take over everything.
Callers, actually, oddly enough.
All right. Well, let's see if they can change our minds, Joe. What do we have?
But speaking of which, I'm going to play the one. I think it's this one here. Who might be right on your tail.
Hi, this is Ralph from Providence. I would pick Superman over Wonder Woman because, I really like Grand Theft Auto, and I got a lot of enemies in the street. So, Superman's powers, freeze them, melt them, rob banks, steal cars, just cause havoc. No one would be able to stop me. You think the government would be able to stop Superman? So, no. I'm picking Superman every single day. He's just too overpowered. I can do anything I want.
Wow, what a violent call that. Hey, who is that again from Providence?
Let's see.
Well,
hi, this is Ralph.
Listen,
Ralphie, listen, I like it. Do my bidding.
Ralph knows where it's at. I told you, Superman. You people are obsessed with Wonder Woman. This guy's obsessed with a whip. He thinks it's a whip. This cuckoo clock in the booth.
He's right. Listen, you know what? For all those of you out there that are going to sit and say that's terrible, that's wrong. If you had Superman, use him for good things. Nonsense.
Wrong show.
They are definitely listening to the wrong show.
We are the real deal New England feel, okay? I want this whole area stocked and stacked with gold bars to start with. I agree with him.
What is wrong with you?
I agree with Ralphie. Ralphie, we love it.
All right, I agree
You're
with
going to tell me that guy isn't called Ralphie? Ralph?
Listen, I agree
If he has any
him.
friends, he said he has a lot of enemies. So listen, Ralph, we don't condone anything illegal. Let's not do anything illegal.
Hey,
No.
Just in case he does come across Superman. Joe, what else we have?
Hey, we got this one's really taking off with Julie from Seacock. She writes in again.
Hey, every week.
Yeah, this is great. So Superman's great and all and can pretty much do everything himself, but Wonder Woman's got style and her boots are fabulous. I'd rather team up with her. If I'm gonna save the world, I might as well look good doing it. Thanks.
See, Julie. See, there's Julie every week. She wanted the maid last week. She voted for the maid last week. Because she's the cook, right? But she likes the boots. I like the boots too.
See, Wonder Woman's got stuff. She comes with stuff,
I could say something about the boots, but this is a family show.
She's
It's a
got
family show. It's a family show.
She's got the headband, the wristband. She's got stuff. She's got accessories.
She does good style. Listen, she does good style. You're right. You are right, though, Joe. She's accessorized. You know?
I like the new movies, the new Wonder Woman movie. She's all right.
Here we go.
She's okay. Nice. She's a nice person.
Joe,
good personality.
Here's a guy who was talking about, what was he talking about last week? Was he talking about Falcon's Crest? Falcon's Crest. Now all of a sudden he likes the new Wonder Woman T-Rex.
First of all, it's
talking
called
about 40 years ago.
It's called Falcon Crest.
Oh, not
Falcon Crest, Joe. I'm sorry, Joe.
It's about a bunch of rich people that live in this.
Okay, all right.
Fantasy world.
Rich people problem.
So Julie likes Wonder Woman. We had Ralphie.
We had
the degenerate Ralphie that wanted Superman for all the wrong reasons. But go ahead, Mark.
Let's see what we got here. We got a couple more here.
Yes, I'm calling in for the question who I would rather team up with, Superman or Wonder Woman. I think I'm going to have to go with Superman on this. I don't think I could handle being bossed around by another woman at this point. So I think I would team up with Superman. Thank you.
You think Superman's not going to boss him around?
He's in trouble, whoever that was.
Oh, he's in big trouble. He's in big trouble. Big trouble.
I was wondering why. I'm like, hey, he didn't leave a name, but then I'm like, yeah, that's probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Hey, listen, unknown, unnamed caller. If she hears this,
who knows?
I am going
to. You want to talk
about
the real deal New England feel? She's going to go real deal all over his ass tonight.
Listen, but he had the beans. He had the beans to say what every other man was thinking. Because you know you were thinking it, Corso. He had the beans to say it.
Hey, listen, you're going to tell me right now, Joe, with the whip over there, you know, you let her boss you around anyway. You would.
Yeah.
You're both lying.
Oh, yeah.
And
so
is the clown that just called. That's about to get his ass whipped when he's going to get his hedge clipped tonight. This guy. What else do we have, Joe?
Our last one for the day. Would you rather?
Hi, guys. This is Jen, your favorite caller. I'm just calling for this week's Would You Rather. I would rather be Wonder Woman when she flies her invisible jet. I think my husband's scurrying around on me, and I want to catch him, that lying bastard. I want to catch him in that. So I'd rather be her. Thanks, guys. Bye.
I think that was the other guy's wife.
Maybe.
Guy, yeah.
I think it was the guy's wife that gets bossed around. This was her.
Wait a minute, though, Joe. Didn't we have one a couple of weeks ago? The girl said her husband was a cheating bastard.
Yeah.
Is this the same one?
That's gotta be.
I don't know.
Boy, I
forget which one that was.
Hey, that's a good idea. Listen, I didn't think about the Jen. Thanks for that. That's the best one tonight. The cheating bastard, Mark.
Wow.
The cheating bastard.
I even forgot about the invisible jet. I forgot about
invisible jet.
You know what? I forgot about the invisible jet too.
She wants to follow him around so she could see what's going on. I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
Can't do that when you're Superman.
Wow. Yeah, because everybody's going to see you, right?
I'm going to tell you something.
She's really fast.
She's got me thinking. She's got me thinking, Chris.
Uh-oh.
You may change.
But I'm going to stick with Superman.
Because of I love the invisible jet idea. Because
I like the invisible jet. I do.
Then we can really see. Then we could really see what Bill Belichick is doing, saying, and everything else, right? With the invisible jet.
I could think of some things to do with that.
Of course, with Superman, you could with the X-ray hearing and vision and all that other stuff. Yeah. He could look at Belichick. He could listen to all the nonsense that's going on in the conversations, and then we could really know what happened with Brady and Belichick. Then we'd really know. What do you think, though? I think that's a great point. I think you use your invisible jet to fly around, spy on people, or get in and out of places without being seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a bit.
I still vote for. Listen. Can I still vote for Catwoman?
Why? You know what? Tell us why, though.
Why what?
Why? Why Catwoman? Why?
I always had a thing for Catwoman. I just liked Catwoman. I like the suit, the whole thing. I just like
It says the suit. That's it. That's all it's about.
Because all she is a burglar.
Yeah, that's all right. I would rather listen. No, my first thought was, and that's why I said it at the beginning. I think he's Joe Cool was Batman.
Oh, thanks. Oh,
Batman, not you.
Yeah, but Batman doesn't really do anything, Mark.
Doesn't matter.
He's got it.
I mean, he's got the
now,
belt. He's got
when
the
I
stuff,
say Batman, I'm talking about Batman, I'm talking about the Michael Keaton Batman.
All right. So you at least
I'm talking about the Michael Keaton Batman.
Because you know the guy right next to you is gonna say which Batman. And we all know if anybody out there already knows which Batman we're talking about, just watch any 70s show.
He's gonna pick Adam West.
1967.
Adam West.
The worst one.
The worst one. You know.
All right. So,
but he's a normal person. Like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So, are you changing your pick? Are you gonna go Wonder Woman or Superman?
I'm gonna go Superman. I'm gonna go Superman because then I could like, if Superman's my friend, then Wonder Woman she'll show up. She'll show up. Here
all right. I'm going Superman. Joe, did you switch or you still going Wonder Woman with the whip?
Let's switch. I stand my ground. Wonder Woman with the whip. With the whip.
With the whip. Good stuff. Hey, listen, I like the calls. The lying, cheating bastard.
Oh, she's gonna call in more. I like that. She tells
where
how
was she from? Where does she live? Where is she from? Providence? Where?
No, she's not from Providence. I don't think. I don't know.
Your favorite caller. I'm just calling.
Oh, she didn't say where.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't say where.
I think she's from like Cranston or because you know those Cranston people over there, right?
Yeah.
We just killed. You just
X'd out that whole listening
X'd out
group.
The Cranston people. Right?
We got a lot of ratings.
That's good. Real good for the ratings, Chris. Thanks, Chris.
The lying. Well, listen, you lying, cheating bastard. You better be careful because Jen's coming in the invisible jet. She's flying over you at all times and watching what everybody's doing. Excellent. Good job, Joe. Nice would you rather. And let me give you the topic for next week. I like this one. Would you rather, if you could have one day a week off every week, would you rather have it be Friday or Monday? You want to have Friday off every week or Monday as the extra day? The weekend
as the 3-day weekend goes?
As the 3-day weekend. Yes. So
nice.
It would be okay. So it would be, I think it's implied, but it would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. This is a good one.
This is a good one.
This is a good one. I can't wait to hear the calls and read the emails. So Corso and Catone was presented by Studio 42 Designs, studio42designs.com. Listen, get on, watch. All of our shows are up for you to watch and listen, subscribe, follow us, and come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. Would you rather segment is going to be there. We're going to have a Catone's comments, of course, your calls, emails, Patriots, Red Sox, Yankees, anything you bring to the table. We will be ready. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.
Find Corso and Catone on iHeartRadio, iTunes, or wherever you podcast. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, Corso and Catone, and catch the chaos at 7 p.m. on Saturday.